Dover Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now ain't you? Now here we go. Terence Crawford is the goods. We've all know it now. Slept over it. Seeing the Terence Crawford dominates Errol Spence, then it puts him in a different stratosphere. It puts him in all of the kind of greatest of all time type of debates. It moves him in that category. He's obviously in this era somebody very special. So my suggestion is this should be our face of boxing, right? There's no reason why it shouldn't be. I was just in a lucrative fight. I've obviously beat everybody. You know, I'm obviously the baddest one out here, and everybody know it. Which to mean fight should be lucrative to see who is going to step to the man. You know what I mean? That should be the face of boxing. But the problem with that is the face of boxing ain't supposed to be somebody what people are afraid to face. You see what I'm saying? Face of boxing, like if it was Canelo, everybody trying to fight him. He got people in his own division, that undefeated guys he ain't fighting, and his whole career basically. So, Javante Davis in his division, there was a other guy that's undisputed in his division, you know what I mean? And another guy they was calling the best ever. So normally the face of boxing is not somebody that people are not in a rush to face. I think when it comes to Terence Crawford, we have an issue here. All right, Terence Crawford, this is obviously something special that we're seeing. I'm hoping that people are grasping the how historic this is, and really focusing on what you're really seeing. You're seeing history. You're talking about a guy who was at 135-pound division, which I've been saying. I'm just going to repeat myself. But when he was at 135 and he left there was nobody at 135 that anybody was saying, hey, Terence, where you going? I want to fight you, right? They were happy, good riddance that you're leaving 135 because there wasn't nobody there, which is unfortunate that he didn't get undisputed there. I don't know the details there, but he could have been probably there. He was definitely unified, if I'm not mistaken. So he goes up to 140 and becomes undisputed. It's a fast forward version, but becomes undisputed. People try to say it wasn't awesome and the people he were beating weren't all that good. I'm just saying and I keep repeating, those are people who haven't lived through it or just going back on these people and just seeing names. But when you say that no one is good, you're calling a whole lot of people bad fighters. Even fighters with one defeat like a Thomas Delorme or a Derry Jean or something like that. Great fighters that we act like they weren't, right, at all. And then, and definitely the Felix Diaz's of the world, right? And then the Victor Postals of the world. To say that they're not awesome is something ridiculous. So we've seen Terence Crawford do that in the 140-pound division. And Julius Ndungo, all hail Julius Ndungo for wanting to fight Terence Crawford, going to Russia, beating Troy Anowski, going to Scotland, beating Ricky Burns, just like Terence Crawford did, and didn't want to go to Nebraska and take the titles from Terence Crawford. Wasn't able to do it, but he attempted it. So all hail Julius Ndungo. Excuse me. So beating Ndungo for me was also huge. Ndungo was feeling himself at the time. And that brings me to another point of we've seen Terence Crawford being a bigger fighter. We've seen him being a fighter of the same size, and we've seen him being the smaller fighter. In his last 10 fights now, he's been a smaller fighter if you count Victor Postal and stuff like that. And he's dominating these bigger fighters. Now, what he's going up there to the welterweight division and people that we were calling not good because they weren't fighting at the PBC or whatever, or you don't know their backstory, to call Kavalikas, Kavaliauskas, but I like to call him Kavalikas, not good, undefeated, or Jose Benavidez, he had one leg, right? But he was in the ring. Everybody wasn't beating the one-legged Benavidez undefeated. Boy, mean, right? And Jeff Horn had just beat Manny Pacquiao, right? Then that brings me to Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao don't want to fight Terence Crawford, never. And nobody wants him to because he can get the Errol Spence treatment that Errol Spence just got. So the point is if you're not understanding how historical this is, you have to go back from the beginning. What you're watching is totally, totally historic with Terence Crawford. It's something to behold. I'm glad I don't miss historical things, right? But I'm going to talk about historical things in another video coming soon. But the point is, if you focus, you're watching history. This guy should be the face of boxing because there's nothing else. There's no other stories, right? There ain't nobody two division undisputed and looking to go to three. If I don't fight if I don't fight Errol Spence again, then whoever's froggy between Jamel Charlo or Tim Chu, or whatever. I'm thinking Terence Crawford would get in the ring with them, especially if it's about legacy. So let's see what happens going forward. I just think that we shouldn't even have no more debate about who's the face of boxing is, or, pay-per-views, this, pay-per-views, that. I think it was a high enough profile fight to where the whole world knows who the baddest one is. So if boxing wants to get itself together, this is a perfect opportunity to crown the two division undisputed, maybe going on three division undisputed, and making history in our face, right in our face, real history, not made up or manufactured history, real history right in front of your face. Let's crown this man the face of boxing and make people have to fight him. That's what we should be doing. Doma Sports Talk, worldwide. And I'm up out of here, y'all.